Another week, another looking at an old Polaroid camera to join the collection. This is the Polaroid 420. Now, we've looked at another Polaroid very similar to this, a land camera, but it was a 210, so this one's twice as good. It looks really similar, honestly. It's got the 4 steps that are numbered. One pops it out so that locks in place, and now your bellows are extended. You've got some controls on the front if you want to lighten or darken the image. Your number 2 is here, which still confuses me a little bit. We were last week talking about a much newer Polaroid camera where you would actually halfway hold down the button to charge the flash. I don't think that's how this worked because you would put flash cubes onto here. But number 3 primes your shutter. Number 2 releases your shutter. And number 4, I think, is where your photo is peeled out. You pull that out there. And we can actually see there's a latch on the bottom that opens up the back of this camera. Ta-da! There's your extended bellows inside there. Viewfinder's up top where you would lock that in. A warning that you need to clean the rollers before inserting a new film pack and how to clean them. I do not have film packs for this camera. This camera is very old, which brings me to the portion where we can talk about what I found out. I found that the Polaroid 420 released in 1971 with an original retail price of $59.95. Today that makes it roughly $470 upon release. Similar to the other Polaroids we looked at, nice long lens, distance-wise, 114 millimeter, and noting that it is a plastic lens. The viewfinder has a distance estimator, which is interesting, and the shutter speeds range from 1/1200th of a second to 10 full seconds with an automatic shutter. Aperture, also automatic, goes from f8.8 to f42, so you can get pretty wide on that. Exposure control, all you get is a dial that gives you plus 2 stops. You can make it 2 stops brighter or 1 stop darker. You could add on a flash. Specifically, I found General Electric high-power flash cubes or equivalent. And then when talking about film, I found this. The devices of this series are intended to be used with the new Pack 100, which gives 8.5 by 10.5 inch photos. The development is external to the device and fast. The films initially available are Polapan 107, which are black and white, 3200 ASA, which is kind of like ISO nowadays, and Polacolor 108, which does colors and has 75 ASA. It's not the most sensitive when you want color. The other thing I found out was that this was designed to be a cheaper version of the Land 430, with the main differences being that the 430 had a timer, 3-element lenses, and accessories. What kind of accessories? I have no idea. I couldn't find any information about that. But that's all I was able to find out about this specifically. Like all the other Polaroids we have, the straps are permanently attached. They're actually riveted together. I would have to cut the strap in order to get this off of here. So I leave it on. It doesn't look as nice on the shelf, but that's fine. That's where it's going to live, on the shelf. But a thank you to my dad specifically. He gave me a bunch of cameras for Christmas. We've got a bunch to look at. That's why we're kind of looking at a bunch of Polaroids. It was a Polaroid heavy Christmas, which is pretty cool. Last week was a Polaroid. Next week will be a Polaroid, but then I think we'll take a break and do a different kind of camera for a bit. Very cool. I like that this one has a case. We actually have the front cover, so it can stay protected and look pretty neat. And it's just a cool piece of history, which I appreciate. And that's why I like looking at these old vintage cameras. Next week, everybody.